The music never stopped after Bob Marley. It shifted, evolved, and right at the center of that evolution stood his son Ziggy, not trying to be a copy, not chasing fame, just building something real. Every beat, every lyric, every risk he took carved out a space that was fully his. This is more than reggae. It's resilience, it's reinvention, and behind the rhythm is a story few people truly know. But how did he do it? How did Ziggy step out of the shadow and become a legend in his own light? Stay with this because this isn't just a rise, it's a revolution in rhythm. Before the gold records, before the Grammys, Ziggy Marley was just David Nista Marley. Born in Kingston, Jamaica in 1968, his earliest memories weren't of applause, they were of rhythms. Drums echoing through trench town streets, voices raised in passion. His father, Bob Marley, wasn't just a musician, he was a force. And Ziggy? He was watching, listening, absorbing. By the time he was 10, Ziggy was already stepping into the studio, not because anyone told him to, but because the music was already inside him. The Marley home wasn't quiet, it pulsed. Rita Marley, his mother, wasn't just managing a household, she was part of the Wailers. Ziggy's childhood was steeped in melodies, lyrics, and the kind of political fire that could shake a nation. He wasn't born into fame, he was born into purpose. What do you do when you have the blood of revolution running through your veins? You form a band with your siblings. In 1979, Ziggy, along with Sharon, Sedella, and Steven, became Ziggy Marley and the Melody Makers. Their debut track, Children Playing in the Streets, wasn't just catchy, it had history. Bob Marley wrote it, and the proceeds went to the United Nations. It was more than a song, it was a statement. The Marley legacy wouldn't be paused. It would keep playing with a new voice. Their early sound was experimental but purposeful. They mixed reggae roots with pop melodies and conscious lyrics, shaping a new identity while paying quiet tribute to their father's vision. They weren't riding his coattails, they were tailoring their own jacket. Albums like Conscious Party and One Bright Day didn't just go platinum, they won Grammys. These weren't participation trophies, they were earned with music that mattered. The group had heart, but more importantly, they had something to say. Peace, unity, resistance, they sang it all with the energy of youth and the wisdom passed down from legends. From global tours to award shows, the Melody Makers didn't just perform, they inspired. For a while, it looked like this sibling-powered revolution might carry the torch forever. The chemistry, the message, the timing, it all clicked. But Ziggy, he wasn't done evolving. He wasn't looking to be part of something anymore. He was ready to lead. When the Melody Makers split in 2002, Ziggy didn't hesitate. He stepped into the unknown, alone, no backup, no safety net. His first solo album, Dragonfly, dropped in 2003. It didn't explode on the charts, there were no viral moments or instant classics, but it did something far more important. It peeled back the curtain. It revealed who Ziggy really was. He wasn't trying to be Bob. He wasn't trying to outshine his siblings. He was exploring, testing, reaching. Dragonfly blended roots, reggae with rock, funk, and even a touch of soul. It was raw, honest, and experimental. It wasn't designed to win awards, it was designed to find himself. His follow-up, Love Is My Religion, did make noise and it won a Grammy. Suddenly, the industry looked up. The fans leaned in. Ziggy wasn't an echo of someone else. He was his own rhythm, his own voice. Every album that came after Family Time, Fly Rasta, Ziggy Marley had one thing in common: authenticity. They didn't chase the charts, they chased meaning. Each track felt handcrafted, each lyric felt lived in. He sang about family, injustice, joy, fear, and freedom, not because it sounded good, but because it was real. Ziggy's solo journey wasn't about reinvention, it was about revelation. The world had seen the son of Bob. Now they were meeting Ziggy to 8 Grammys. Think about that, 8. Not because of nostalgia or his last name or industry favors. He funded it, fought for it, became it. The Marley name could have easily become a hollow brand slapped onto cheap merchandise. But Ziggy had other ideas. He went into business, but he did it his way. Organic product lines, eco-conscious brands, partnerships with health-focused companies. One of his standout ventures was in the pet industry, launching a plant-based wellness line for dogs with one farm. It might sound random, but for Ziggy, it made sense. Care starts at home, even with your pets. His business moves weren't about profit margins. They were about alignment. Every product he backed reflected his values. Clean, conscious, purpose-driven. Ziggy is not just a front man, he's a father of 7. Married to Orly Agai, Ziggy built a life that's surprisingly grounded. For a global superstar, he keeps it tight, family first, faithful to roots. And despite the fame, he's not the type to flood tabloids. His parenting style, simple, honest, just like his music. He's raised his kids to understand the weight of their last name, but also the freedom to choose their own path. And that balance, that's the real Marley legacy. Not just the music, but the message. In 2024, something historic happened. Ziggy reunited with his brothers Stephen, Julian, Damien, and Kaimani for the Marley Brothers Legacy Tour. For the first time in 20 years, the sons of Bob Marley took the stage together. They weren't just singing their father's hits, they were reviving his mission. City after city, fans screamed, danced, cried. The energy, unreal. And it wasn't nostalgia, it was a movement. Because the Marleys didn't just inherit Bob's music, they inherited his voice. And they used it to remind the world of what it had forgotten: love, peace, justice, rhythm, all in one chorus. So what do you call someone who turns pressure into purpose? Who takes a legendary name and makes it his own? You call him Ziggy Marley. He's more than a musician. He's a torchbearer, a father, a change maker. He's built bridges with songs, funded futures with his wealth, and carved out a legacy that can't be measured by charts alone. And here's the truth, he's not done. New projects, new messages, new generations to inspire. Ziggy isn't slowing down, he's evolving. Because for him, legacy isn't something you inherit, it's something you create. One honest moment at a time. Ziggy Marley didn't just live in his father's shadow, he turned it into a light of his own. From trench town to global stages, he's carried a message the world still needs to hear. Music with purpose, fame with humility, power with compassion. That's the legacy he's writing. One song, one act, one truth at a time. And it's far from over. If you were moved by his story, let us know in the comments. Hit that like button, share this with someone who needs inspiration, and don't forget to subscribe for more incredible stories. And of course, ring that bell so you never miss what's next.